I can confidently make two statements about this group today. First, most of you guys have not been able to double the number of your locations within the past 12 months. Not because of lack of money, access to capital, not having enough patience, or lack of vision or ambition of your management team, but rather your inability to attract and retain dentists. Second, all of the groups here are looking for a way to have a quicker market penetration, increase valuations, so you can exit from your groups, partially or completely, within the next 1 to 5 years. Wouldn't it be nice if you had options available to you, where you indeed could double, triple, or even quadruple the number of your locations within the next 12 to 18 months? And be able to attract and retain dentists on a long-term basis. Wouldn't that be nice? By the end of the presentation today, I hope I can re-trigger your thinking about growth strategy in 2020. First of all, good afternoon. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the organizers of this event, the manufacturers, as well as the open room events, for bringing us together and bringing you, the leaders, the mover and shakers of our industry. So over the next couple of days, we can all share, learn, and collaborate with one another. In past 30 years, I have been a dentist, an entrepreneur, an angel investor of the very first publicly listed company in the world. And for the past 6 years, I have focused my consulting practice in growing practices just like yours, by bringing good systems and processes in place, and most importantly, integrating those systems so when they're ready to exit, they can have a much higher valuations. Having this unique background as being a dentist, having a formal education in investment banking, have allowed me to work with dental groups across the globe, from a small developing countries to fully developed, saturated dental markets. And what I have found is that the best management teams are those who I like to refer to them as strategists, situational strategists. Meaning that the situation the group is in best determines their growth strategy. For example, if you are a publicly listed dental company and you're under pressure to meet your quarterly goals, you may choose M&A activity as your primary source of growth to meet your shareholders' expectations as well as protect your share prices. If you are a large privately held dental group, who may be facing difficulties in attracting and retaining dentists, or if you're in a dentist community where you're being looked at as a corporate entity, or I should say /enemy, who is there to steal the business of this small solo practitioner and shut them down. You may opt for a different growth strategy where it is more dentist-friendly and less hostile. Or you may be a small emerging dental group who needs access to quicker cash, financing, need better brand recognition and perception in the marketplace. Then you may choose a different method of growth. What is important is that no matter which method you use, typically these methods are non-transparent to the general public, and even some of us as dental professionals. So when I go through those options with you, which I will cover 7 traditional and non-traditional ways of expansion, I will also give you an example of the companies where their primary activity falls within that category. So you can research it more or welcome to contact me for more information. Before I do the presentation, I need to warn you, this is an oversimplistic 30,000 feet view of the growth strategy. Any strategic formulation for your company will require an in-depth analysis of your company's balanced scorecard, as well as considering all legal and tax implications. Now, when I go through the list, I will go and define the list, because some of these methods you're already doing them. Some of them may be new to you. At the end, after I define the list, then I will do a comparative visual of all of the methods based on what I like to call situational lenses that I use in my consulting practice after I do an assessment of the client before I advise them on the growth strategies. The first model is the organic model, which pretty much everyone here have probably gone through the organic. It's using the generated profit of your company to start new practices from scratch. It's a very slow, nurturing process because you're focused really on running the business than growing the business. It's great if you're cash rich, if you have private equity backing, lots of money, or if you're cash poor, but you have good credit, which you can have access to lending. If you do more than $2 million a year, you can go to a specialty bank that they are focused on dentistry. Anything less than that, a traditional bank will do it. If you're doing more than $5 million a year, then you can look for investors that are willing to take part of the equity and give you the money. An example of that is Clear Choice, which is a dental implant center in the US, where they're private equity backed. They focus on doing implants, the all-on-4, and everything else there. If you're cash rich, you can wait out the time that it takes for the practice to become profitable. And they're definitely cash rich. Then post-dental, their primary activity is organic growth. They did some M&As, didn't work out. Lots of problems with integration. They recently sold off about 120 offices in the US and lost a lot of money. Next is the non-organic, or the M&A. It's acquiring other clinics to show fast revenue growth, popular among PE-backed groups or companies with large cash reserves. Publicly listed companies generally are forced to do a lot of M&As to protect their share prices, and many times those don't go very well. The biggest problems are post-merger and pre-merger integrations. And they continue to be the #1 challenge in the M&A sector. Some of the big names, Bupa Dental, everybody's pretty much familiar, and QNM from Singapore. Franchising. Franchising became popular in the 90s, then it went away, because part of the franchising laws, or the basis of the law of franchising, is about control. And in countries such as the US, and I assume it is the same thing in Singapore and some of the other countries, you cannot tell the dentist what to do. So franchising was not very popular between about 2000 to about 2010. The last several years, they have lightened up the franchising laws, and now it's becoming more and more popular. The problem with franchising is that you must have a good business development team to go out and sell those franchises, as well as, obviously, you have to spend a lot of money on the legal fees and structure there. Example of that is Comfort Dental and Vital Dent. They typically charge anywhere between $40,000 to $70,000 as an initiation fee, with about 3 to 8% negotiable on royalties. After that is the licensing. The licensing is similar to franchising, but is less regulated. You need to have a strong, good brand and good level of documentation. It is very easy to onboard practice owners, but to sustain them, you must be really giving them value. A prime example of that is the Mallow Clinic, which they grew substantially, and I personally added 17 clinics to their network within 12 months. The problem was that they were not taking care of their licensees the way they should. And they had some other problems with payments and everything, and Mallow Clinic is really non-existent in Lisbon. Then we have the DSO, or dental service organizations, or you can call it dental support organizations. They were introduced in the late 80s as a legal loophole for non-dentists to own clinics. And this is one of the reasons right now we are in this once-in-a-lifetime generational opportunity, because there's so much money out there that are throwing at these DSOs that are not